Hello, hello, and welcome back to Mornings Don't Have to Suck, your go-to AM motivation and mindset podcast to start your day without the dread. In the short time we have together, you might just learn something new about yourself and how to approach your day from a new and clever perspective. My name is Kaylin, and I am your host today. I am the founder of Live Your Clever Life Coaching, and we will jump right into it as usual today. Our topic today is something you are likely familiar with, something you likely partake in every day, whether you're aware of it or not, and it is likely a cause of stress in your life. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. You know how it goes. And I'm going to hopefully give you a little something to start to combat this in lifetime, so that you can start living a little bit more effectively and a little bit less stressfully, I will say. So, like I said, jumping into it, today we are talking about instant gratification. I've been waiting to talk about this one for a while. I've had it on my list. I have a very long list of topics. This one, I wasn't sure when I was going to talk about it. And then today I saw it and my eyes bugged out and I went, okay, today's the day then. So we are going to talk about it. What is instant gratification? I know that you know what it is, but we are going to talk about it in like a definition form and then go through it like usual. So, what is instant gratification? If you were to look it up in the dictionary or if you were to Google it, it'll say something along the lines of the desire to be instantly satisfied. Now, I want you to think about that just for a quick moment, because we live in a society where we are it's basically riddled with messages, whether you're looking at the television, you're on Instagram, social media, whatever you're doing. Every piece of content that you look at is riddled with messages about achieving instant gratification and how you should feel it immediately. And if you don't, you're probably like not great, right? You're probably off track. We're pretty much wired to expect and seek instant gratification. And if we don't, or if we're not overnight successes, we feel shame and regret, and we often give up. That's intentional, just FYI. We won't deep dive in that on this episode, but what we will dive deep in on this episode is talking about how to get past that and talking about how to seek gratification that is realistic, seek long-term gratification, because that's often the type that sticks the most. So think about it. As you go about your normal daily life, how many times do you get frustrated that something hasn't happened yet? And if you say never, I want to say that I'm sorry, but I do think you are lying. And the only reason I say that is because this will pop up in the most random of moments. Let's talk about a couple examples. When you're waiting for coffee and you're in line, and it's the slow barista day, and you're like, oh, great, it's that person again. This is going to take me forever. That right there is an example of you wanting your coffee instantly on your terms and your terms only. That's instant gratification right there. Rather than being like, oh, there's a line. This is probably going to take me a little bit more time. I can allot for 7 more minutes waiting for my coffee rather than getting stressed and upset. But no, we often go, oh, great, now I'm going to be late for this, and this. And we want to place blame on things and on people so that we feel better about getting off track, whatever that may be. Let's think about that, right? Another example of instant gratification is when people, I used to be one of them until recently, get upset about how long it's taking them to pay off their debt. Whether it's student debt, credit card debt, car debt, whatever it is. That is a very justified one because it causes a lot of stress, right? But you made the debt in the first place. Once you own it and once you go, oh yeah, okay, well, I did that. Then you can realize, well, it's going to take me longer to pay off debt than it is to accrue debt because spending money is very easy, as we all know. And then 2, on top of that, it's the long game. If you focus on the long game and you realize that nothing is instant. Nothing is like turning on your faucet and having water come out, which is not something that everybody has. So if you have that moment of mindfulness and gratitude there. But these are things to consider, because when we let go and we start to release instant gratification, a lot can happen physically, mentally, and progress-wise. You'll start to make legitimate progress because you won't be focused on what you haven't accomplished or what you haven't accomplished yet or how you don't look or how you don't feel. You will be more focused on the outcome and making sure you do the little things along the way to get there. So to pose another question to you is, what would happen in your life if you started trusting the process? If you started playing the long game? Whether you're paying off debt, whether it's in your relationships, at work, in your skill building, right? In the process of educating yourself, in saving and in making money, what would happen? Think about it. Think about, here's a very common one, fitness or losing weight. If you are a millennial, or if you are anyone existing in this society today, you have likely tried to start a fitness routine. You've probably been on a million diets. You've probably tried to lose weight X amount of times. And oftentimes you get 3 weeks in and go, why isn't this working? Or you get 3 days in and you go, why is this working? And instead of trusting the timeline and giving yourself time to actually adapt and change and feel the physical changes, the scientific changes that you need to make happen, we immediately go, well, it's not going to work. And then we give up. And I'm not calling anyone out there because I have done that many of times. Like I said, I am of diet culture, whether I like it or not. Luckily, I have a wonderful relationship with my body. I am a fitness instructor that focuses more on the mental side versus the physical side. I never talk about losing weight in my classes. It's always about how you feel and your strength and all of that. But you rewind me 12, 15 years, that is not how my brain used to work. It was, why am I not losing weight? Why haven't I lost 10 pounds already? Why don't I look like this, XYZ, right? We are conditioned to think that way. So just a reminder, if you feel that way, if you think that way, that is very normal. You're on track per society's expectations and per society's terms. But what if you flipped it? What if you decided to trust the long game? Another example, perfect. Along the same lines, I have now been a spin instructor for almost 7 years. If I would have told you my past self that, I would have laughed in your face because I used to cry during cardio, all of that. Like there would be no way. But I gave it the long game. And after 6 months, I didn't even realize that I was still doing it. I have been doing it now for 7 years. If you allow yourself to trust the process, it just becomes a normal part of your life. You don't have to be like, oh, why isn't this working? Because I'm not trying to make anything work. I'm just spinning because it feels good and it makes my body feel good and it makes the people in my classes feel good. So when you shift and start to pivot on your focuses and on your why behind all that stuff, it gets very, very clear on where your focus needs to be. And that's the long game. It's not of achieving everything overnight. Coming from somebody who's starting a business or who started a business, and I couldn't even tell you how many months in. If I was striving for instant gratification, I would have quit already. That's all. But I am playing the long game. And by playing the long game, things have just started to come to me. I haven't had to really do much except for respond, which is wonderful because I have put it out into the universe. I am doing this. I have put in the efforts to reach out and go to wherever they need to go because I realize that it's not going to happen overnight. So think about what that would do in your life. Maybe you're on your own weight loss journey. Maybe you're trying to just overall be healthier. Maybe you're fighting for that promotion. Maybe you're wanting to get married, but you know it's not right now. Whatever it is, play the long game. Stop waiting for things to happen overnight, and your life will absolutely change. Lastly, I'm going to give you some minor, tiny strategies that you could probably use in your everyday life if you want to release that instant gratification and to let go of it. First is just the understanding in itself that instant gratification is a myth. It will not happen unless it's something very obvious, like you're making a cake and you want the cake 45 minutes later. Like that's obvious. But let's talk about what it means strategy wise and what you can do today, tomorrow, the next day, all that good stuff to figure out, let's play the long game a little bit more. What does that mean for me? So one small one is called the 10-minute rule. And this really relates to things in the how do I say this? more a minute level, I guess is how I would put it. But practicing the 10-minute rule basically means whenever you get that urge for that dopamine hit, right? Whether it's, I'm going to go online shopping because I haven't done it in 15 minutes and I need something, wait 10 minutes. Or if it's, I really want a cookie and I know I just had 5, but if I just have one more, it's not that big of a deal. Wait 10 minutes, see if you truly want that. Use the time to pause, to take a breather, to distract yourself a little bit, to reflect on whether you actually do want it. And if it is not just something you're trying to get, like I said, quick dopamine from, or making sure it aligns with your long-term goals. On top of that, oftentimes the urge will pass because it'll go in your mind, you won't act on it, and then you'll get distracted by something else because we are humans and that's what happens in our brains. This strategy works because it rewires you. It rewires your brain to pause before reaching for that thing that usually gets you that instant gratification. It gives you the chance to make the decision. And I think that's what a lot of us miss in this process. Another strategy you could use is when you start to feel that need, right, for that instant gratification, try to refocus it on a healthier or more sustainable action that will still get you that same feeling of whatever it is that you need. So whether you're craving, again, that dopamine hit from social media, from doom scrolling, replace it by going on a walk, by turning on your favorite song and dancing, by reading a chapter in a book that you've been putting off. Put it into a creative hobby. Do something else than the thing that you are craving, because the cravings are not often things that you need. They are only going to treat the symptom of the thing that you need rather than actually getting to the bottom of it. If you're someone who likes to shop a lot, or you impulse shop because you like the rush of adding it to your cart, add it to a wish list instead. I have so many lists on my site where I go to order everything, to where I go, you know what, I really want that, but I'm not going to need that right now. I need it for a trip 6 months from now. Let me create a trip list so it's on there when I need it, and when I probably won't ever go back and buy it because I don't need it, right? With that too, you'll have the list there. So maybe tomorrow you're still thinking about it. There you go. You've at least given your chance to make the decision. Junk food's kind of give or take, because I'm all about like balance. Like if you want a cookie, have the cookie. Don't not have the cookie, but also don't overdo it. Like I used to be able to, I call them, I know they're not called reams, but I could eat a whole ream of Girl Scout cookies in one packet, right? But if I'm trying to be healthier, and if my goal is to be healthier, not having those around is great, right? So maybe replacing it with a healthier version, or fruit, or whatever thing that would make me fill me up just as much as the cookie would, having that around so that I don't give into those cravings, it helps. This works because you're meeting the need, right? Like I said, you're not meeting the symptom. You're meeting the need that's underlying in a way that actually aligns with the thing that you're doing. And I think that that's what a lot of us miss, is when we give into the instant gratification because it feels good right now. But if we look long term, that's not the decision we want to make for the thing that we want. So take that as you will. This is where I leave you today. I know I feel like I ran through that, but really take the time to think about what in your day to day is purely there to seek instant gratification, and how many times are you doing it, and why are you doing it? And is there something else that you could do in its place to actually quell or get rid of the underlying issue? You are strong. You are worthy. Please take that with you today. Please bring someone some light and some love. Share this with somebody who needs it. And I will see you bright and early back here tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.